I think it's time for some more Poundland items, or should I say £2 items, since both these items cost £2 each. The first is a hot melt glue gun, and it's worth mentioning that I don't think you can get this cheaper off eBay. You could probably get a similar gun off eBay, but the question is, would it be compliant with British standards? Because I should hope this one is. Then again, you just never know. But it is from Poundland, so it should be pretty good. They are quite strict that way. They do quite a good job of selling stuff that is relatively compliant. So what you get, it comes with the plug pre-attached. That's quite nice, as most British appliances do. It's worth mentioning that. It must annoy some of the Chinese manufacturers that we do have such a big and clunky plug. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plug this in. We'll monitor how much power it takes. Let's get this little cable tie off. Yeah, what I'm saying, the Chinese manufacturers must be really annoyed by our plug because it is so big, it makes things packaging if they're wanting the pokey little 2-pin plugs. But that's just how it is. So what we'll do is this. I shall load this up with a hot melt glue stick. It comes with 2, but we'll also try these ones out. So I'm just going to shove this in. Yep. And I'm going to plug it in and we'll measure the power consumption. And what I'll then do is I'll let it heat up and I'll give it a good generous amount of time to heat up, but I'll try it every couple of minutes. And I'll get a bit of cardboard. Oh, hold on. Bit of cardboard. And I shall splooge some glue onto this. And I'll let you know once. I'll pause while this is heating up. And once I've tried it and found the point at which it starts splooshing, I shall then give it that time and we'll just see how fast it can put glue through. But before that, let's start by testing it with the power meter. So let's bring in the hoppy. And I'll just let it sit here and flicker violently. The glue sticks, incidentally, these are sparkle glue sticks with glitter in them. And they're a mixture of silver, gold, green, blue and red. So they'll be quite interesting. I'm wondering how good they're going to look. Let's put the little stand on it. That's the usual little sort of springy metal stand. Oh, that is very springy. That is extremely springy. Yep. This is where I bend it far too much. I don't think I could bend it far too much. It is extremely springy. I have bent it far too much, but not to worry. It is bent. Right. So let's test this. Now, this uses a PTC thermistor inside, which is the temperature, the heating element is self-regulating. So when I plug this in initially, and this is where I should be timing it. Hold on, I'm going to get a timing device. I'm going to get my other phone in. Let's get the old Moto G4 in. Let's go to the stopwatch. And I'll plug this in and we'll see what the power consumption is down the hoppy here. And I'll also start the stopwatch at the same time. So the power starts off around about 18 watts. That's not bad. And it's gradually falling as it heats up, and it'll balance at some point. This room's quite cold, so it will have started at a fairly modest temperature there. So I shall set this to the side and we'll just wait until this starts squirting some glue out. So I'm going to pause momentarily so you don't have to watch this thing heating up, because watching hot melt glues heat is particularly annoying. It's like watching kettles, waiting for them to come to the boil. So I'll pause now and I'll come back once this is heated up to the point it can squirt some glue out. I think 5 minutes is a reasonable enough time. I should mention that the glue started coming out at a mere 90 seconds into operation, but I've given it a good length of time. I've given it 5 minutes to heat up. So let's start splooging glue out and see how this does. It's worth mentioning that that's good. The ratings are, oh right, okay, so it gets that much out and then it has to start heating again, but it's still capable of oozing a little bit out. But it really is going to be best suited to small blobs here and there, not just continuous sort of running huge speeds. The label says in absolutely microscopic text, like sub-half millimeter, 240 volt, 6.5 watts, brackets, 40 watts, 50 hertz, 288921/SY, and then 10 watts. Now, the power consumption at the moment is 9.6 watts, so the 10 watts does seem to be what it actually sits at in normal use, and it seems to recover at a fairly decent rate. So I'm just going to squirt this stick of glue through. Then I'm going to stick, what colour we use? I think we'll use the red glue. So I'm just going to push this in here. Ugh, squishy. And once we've finished with this and put some of the glitter glue through to see what it looks like, I shall open it up completely. I shall take it apart and we'll see what the assembly's like. I'm expected to be fairly typical of this type of mini hot melt glue gun. So I'm waiting for this to heat up again, haven't I, really, because it's still got the clear glue in it. Right, tell you what, I'll just pause momentarily until that's had a chance to recover. Let's see how this works, because I've been squirting all the colours in. I've just made a sort of one big glue stick out of them all. So here's the red. Looks quite nice. Now it's making the transition to purple, with little bits of red still coming out in it. Oh, it's the glitter itself. It's clear glue with the coloured glitter in it. So there's the blue. I'm going to have to feed another stick in here to mush it through. So here comes the green. And it's cooling down again. Yeah, this is only really suitable for doing small quantities of glue at a time. No greed here. And finally, here comes the gold. Well, I say finally here comes the gold. The yellow's actually quite a nice one. It's quite a bright colour. Which of those looks the best? The blue looks the most sparse, as does the green. The red looks pretty good. And the yellow looks pretty good. And next colour will be clear with glitter, which all the other bits of remnant bits of glitter are coming out in the clear. Okay, that's all right. Right, that is enough, I think. I think it's time to start pulling this to bits. So let's do that. The power consumption is stabilising once again because it's in heating mode at about 10 watts. So I'm going to take that apart right now. Actually, you know what? It would be a really good idea to let it cool before I take it apart. That would probably speed things up greatly. So I shall do that, and I shall pause momentarily once again. Okay, that's cooling down nicely. It's worth mentioning this because the glue is standard glue with the glitter embedded in it. It's fairly glittery, but if you put it on quite thick, it doesn't look sort of deep and glittery like some of the sort of like the sort of fiberglass with glitter laid into it, which is very clear, the fiberglass resin. It's got that slight translucency, so you only really see the glitter on the surface. Oh, incidentally, tonight's candy is from Iceland. It's from Magnus and Alex, and it is Sirius, and I'll try and pronounce this. Oh dear, I'm never going to. Verjumma sukoladi med caramello curly and islensku I bet I really pronounced that bad. Basically speaking, it's salted caramel with milk chocolate caramel and salted sea salt. Now, it's worth mentioning, it's quite an odd colour. It's not like standard chocolate, it's a very pale colour. And for those of you living in the UK, it's like Caramac, if you recall the sort of the caramel candy, and it's got the little sort of crunchy bits of caramel through it, but it's quite light coloured. It's got low cocoa solids. It's quite nice. The other thing I'm trying tonight is a run, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, which is a lava bar from Iceland, and looks suspiciously like a rice-coated sort of caramel wafer type thing. It's quite nice. With the name lava, I was expecting something like spicy, but it's actually just a sort of caramel wafer bar. Quite nice. Let's, this is unplugged. Let's take this little metal clip off and get it open and take the thing to bits. I know what to expect in here because I've taken glue guns apart before, but there's no harm in taking another one apart. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws holding the case together. And the 5th one. Let's see if this comes apart. Let's see if it goes gidoing like so many of them do. This thing is normally quite spring-loaded. It goes onto that wee pillar there. Some of these do require that the thing is together for the full strength, and if you try pulling the trigger, as is, apart from everything popping out, it will sometimes break that pillar off. But the idea is that as you pull it, the design is such that this kicks up a bit. It's got a little tooth in here that goes up and grips the bar. So as you pull it, to drag this along, first that tooth has to go up. Let me show you closer. So there's that little tooth there, and as you drag it along, that little tooth goes up and grips the glue stick and pulls it forward. But then when it goes back, it kind of releases that. It goes down, so it's a sort of one-way sort of valve for glue. I'll keep you zoomed in here, actually. This is quite good. The rest of it is really just the cable going up, some heat shrink over some connections to the PTC element in here, and it's tiny. So we've got this metal clip which unclips. It's worth mentioning there's a silicone type seal here that as the glue stick goes in, it sort of mates with a lip inside to prevent the glue just splunging out the back. And then at the front, just probably for, I don't know, it's not needed. Is it for electrical safety, or is it just for appearance, or maybe thermal isolation from the case? It's got this little sort of silicone rubber tip as well. If I lever this little clip up here, this will ping off and it will reveal a metal plate to sandwich that PTC thermistor element in. And it's just wrapped in Captain tape. It's got a few turns of Captain tape. That is the insulation. Is that taped further? Or is it, I'll just pull it out, end out, and you'll see what's inside. We have two metal plates. They look like brass, crimped onto the wires. And then we've got this little slug of ceramic material. This is the PTC element. And it actually looks as though it's been scribed off a long strip of it. They've just cut it to various lengths because it's got a rough edge at each end. And you'd think, why don't they just solder onto each side of this? And the answer is that it's because thermal expansion stresses, it's easier to make the connection. It's got a metallized coating on it, and it just, they sandwich it in between these two electrodes and then put this sort of insulation around it, and that allows for a heat element that can expand, contract slightly, and also makes a fairly decent connection onto it. They do sometimes go a bit spectacular when they do fail. But it's very, very simple. And all that does, it has when you power it up, it has a specific resistance relative to ambient temperature, and as it gets hotter, it self-regulates. After a while, it starts going higher in resistance, so until it reaches an equilibrium point that the temperature rise and the current flowing through it, they kind of balance with whatever this is dissipating, the sort of aluminium heater core. So that looks all right. I've been obviously squeezing it with excess force here because I can see a little blob of glue has come out the side here. But that's fundamentally what's inside these glue guns. There's very little in them. I suppose that's why they're cheap. And you know, these are relatively reliable, these devices. It means that the circuitry is very, very simple inside. It's just these sort of little bits of heat-resistant wire, which feels it's solid core wire. That's interesting. Not stranded. I don't think it's stranded. And it is just crimped into those. So that's all there is to it. So I'll probably put this back together. I don't really need another glue gun, but I'll try and put it back together just for the entertainment value of seeing if I can put it back together. Back together again. It didn't explode. I will say it's very fumbly, particularly when you're wrapping up the positive temperature coefficient thermistor while trying to keep those little things on the side. You have to wrap the Captain tape around it, squeeze it, and then sort of work it round while trying not to let the bits slip apart. And then once you've got them, you put the little metal plate on, you sit it in the trough and then put that clip on. And then because the wiring is so springy, you're trying to balance all these bits at the same time that go into a guide rail up here and a pin here and a spring here. It helps if you stick a glue stick in just to keep things lined up as you put it back together to make sure it all goes back together again properly. So the last test, I've stuck a thermocouple up the end, and I shall squirt some hot melt glue out, some fresh, so I've let it heat up for a while. And the temperature it gets up to seems to be in the region of about 140 degrees Celsius. Let's give it a good squeeze to get the stuff right out from the heater core. This is making a huge mess of the thermocouple. Oh yeah, it actually goes up to about 150 when it's just coming out. Okay, so pretty damn hot. I don't know what the temperature of the low temperature sticks is. I'm going to have to try and get the glue off this very hot thermocouple now. Oh, this is such a mess. Not to worry. Ow, ow, ow. But yeah, there you go. It's not a bad little glue gun. The glitter glue is okay, particularly like the yellow. The yellow seems to look one of the better colours. Having said that, when you've just squirted it out and it's still wet, it looks glitterier than once it's cooled down, because as soon as it cools down, that glue milks again, and it kind of gives that effect. So that's my body temperature, by the way, round about, yeah, typically about in the region of just under 30 degrees Celsius. Room temperature, on the other hand, will be, I'll just shake this so it's sort of, yeah, room temperature in here is rapidly going down. Yeah, I think it's about 9 degrees Celsius in here at the moment. Yeah, something like that. Am I going to get any better than 10? Yes, it's cold in here, but that's all right. I'm not cold. And the hot melt glue gun certainly isn't cold. So there we go. Ambient power consumption is about 10 watts. It seems absolutely fine. Simple, typical glue gun construction, and the glittery sticks aren't too bad if you're into that sort of thing. One thing that the hot melt glue is really good for, oh, hold on, have I got something I could do that with? I'll probably regret this. This is a mould I made a while back out of a sort of combination of sealant silicone and corn flour mixed together, and you can make sort of rubber moulds out of it, and I suppose ultimately this is where I run out of the glue. You can squirt the hot melt glue into them to make plastic mouldings effectively using the hot melt glue, and embed LEDs into them. If I'd really thought of it, I'd have an LED handy to stuff into that, but I didn't, so that wasn't very well planned. I'm not sure what colour this LED is. One moment. Where's my little LED tester? This LED it's warm white. In it goes. And a bit more glue splooshed over the top to seal that LED in. I'm not sure what that's going to do. I don't think it's going to look particularly spectacular, actually. Particularly because if the glue milks, it's going to sort of give that translucent effect. But it could be an interesting way of creating small sort of translucenty, blobby sort of LED lights. Oh, look at this. It's not 6 degrees Celsius here. I think I may need a new thermocouple. That is just being a bit ambitious. And, right, I'm going to let that set, and then I'll show you what it looks like anyway. So, let's see if we can get this out now, that it's cured. Just flex the mould until it pops out. It has come out quite cleanly. Oh, it's taken some of the grey resin that was left in that from a previous moulding experiment has come out. It's not bad though. Let's see what it looks like when it's lit up. If I got a little device I can power the LED with. Yes, I do. Let's plug it in here and see what it looks like. Oh, it does light up, but to be honest, oh, I'll zoom down so you can see this. It's a bit of a hot spot in the middle. It would have been better if the LED had been sat right at the back of that hot melt glue to actually get a better diffusion. But yeah, that's not bad. It's a good visual effect. And that pretty much sums up that glue gun test. So now I'm going to finish eating some of that chocolate and then have a little drink, and then I'm going to design a circuit board. So if you liked the video, remember and leave a thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like the video, and if you like this general style of video and not the sound of me eating chocolate, then you might consider subscribing as well. I just feel the need to just pop that in occasionally. So there we go. The Poundland glue gun, really not too bad at all.